Hello, Clarice. Alright, this one's actually kind of tricky.
Looks like luck.
Aries Studios, thank you for the resub. Because we know we've got this emerald green that goes down the middle of the suit. Strips are white that go up to here. And then we have a medium gray through here. I'm going to start with the white. And then probably work into the flesh tone areas from there. Yeah. And the funniest thing is, this is based on a real person. It's not just a character that was made up and drawn. The whole character is based on a physical person. All the mocap, everything.
Hi, kitties.
I have our house tigers with us. Bump the table. How is everybody? Her ponytail's printing now, but that won't be done till tonight. And then I gotta deep clean the printer because I'm gonna put the clear green resin in and paint that up, or print that up. Well, it's just the company that made this game also makes another game known for TNA called Nike Goddess of Victory. And they caught heat over this, at least here in the US, because apparently the character was over-sexualized. They thought she was unrealistically attractive. And then they found out that she's actually, the entire model of the physical characteristics are based on a real person. So my goal for today is to try and get as far as we can, so that way all I've got to do is mask off the green areas for silver, and then that way I can apply the clear green over the silver. But they'll have to dry for a little while, so this might be a multi-day figure as well. Any good figure should be. Is the music volume okay? I know we adjusted it last stream. It's loud this time? Okay. How about now? Better. I don't know if I'm going to get too far into the shading and everything on this one, because the way the character's done, it's very flatly in terms of the coloring. I might break a little bit of the light gray out and do the shadows in her gloves and stuff. Try and accentuate a couple minor things, but and who's that on our seat? That's Arnie, the OG chair cat. Yep, it's going to be the emerald green suit. What, Arnie? Huh? Oh no, we're not. We are not doing desk right now, Arnie. We don't have time for you to do desk. My stinky boy. You're definitely showing your age now. Let me get a look at her sword real quick. Not a lot of white on it, but actually there's none. It's like titanium, black, and the blade is a metallic color with gray. Okay, so we're just gonna paint her glove on that. Okay. But if you look on the character, she's got like this little cape that's kind of like fairy wings. I'm going to print that out in clear green resin that Aries wonderfully supplied. And if my print for that works out well, I'm going to invest in some other colors. How cool would it be to have Korra from Tron printed in clear blue resin with LEDs inside the body, making it glow? And somebody just released a model of the blonde siren from the second Tron film as well. Almost had a drop. Still getting the hang of this airbrush too. Arnie, why are you headbutting my elbow? Huh? That lace effect popped nicely. Unfortunately, we're back to the sucky camera too. And Allie just came screaming into the room. Alex, thank you for the $20. I will throw that into savings, and we will put that towards the new... Now this is done by... This is fan art, believe it or not. This isn't official. Yeah, we will put that money towards the Camaro Fender Fund. So, like I was saying, I want to get as much painted as I can that's not part of the green metallic. That'll be last. So after I lay in the white, there's going to be a lot of brush painting today. Yeah, that's right. I have played the demo. I haven't got the actual game yet. I think when it first came out, most people thought, oh, it's riffing on Bayonetta. It's going to be another Bayonetta type game. It's anything but. But. Make sure all this has a good solid coat. And what do? We go and stick our finger right in it. Hard not to. Alrighty. I'm thinking I should probably just concentrate on the body, get as much as I can done, and then use this as a demarcation line, because I can't paint these until I have the back piece printed. But I can get the legs done and a bunch of other areas, because all this needs to be flesh colored, and the arms, and part of up here. And it'll be easier just to run masking tape over everything once it's done, and then spray the flesh tones. So we'll do that. A little more here. Hey, Major Havoc. I'm doing alright. Painting one of the more controversial video game characters since Lara Croft's polygonal busties hit the screen. Oh, sorry, Lara Croft. How have you been? We were just talking about that, which I find amazingly funny. And yet nobody batted an eye, considering this is the same studio that makes Nikke Goddess of Victory. I think the main difference is that one portrays a photorealistic person, the other one is literally just hyper crazy anime girls. Oh, I know about the life thing. We are joined by Arnie. Enjoy it while it lasts, guys, because he might not have another year left. Yeah, I know, buddy. You're getting old. If he makes it another year, I'll be amazed. Hi, buddy. Honk. Yeah. Alright, so... Pictures. Arnie, no. Arnie, no. You know what? Let's work on her tie. That, and I want to give the whole body a little more time to dry. This, I can handle a little bit easier. So we need black and green. And a little bit of intermediate green. They are I did that. For some reason, whenever I start, Twitch takes it out. Because I'm using Restream. There, I put it back in again. I did all that before I started streaming. Good to know that they take it out. But as I've said before, though, by the end of the month I'll be ordering new fenders for the Camaro. Today I've got some new taillight bulbs arriving for it. I ordered some red corncob LED for them because the standard Sylvanias just will not work. shake this up a bit more. Shake it up. I might give the lacework a thin wash of gray. Just to pop it out. Oh, this is metallic black. I don't want that. I want regular black. Good thing I looked. So that strip is black. These will be black, but they tie into the shoulder straps for the other parts. And this will be black with white, green, and then a lot of green detailing. Okay. Well, what am I missing? Alex, thank you again for another tip. Every little helps. Thank you very much for that. I cleaned the desk again too, so everything's not in its optimal place. Every little helps. I know I'm over halfway there, so probably just before the first I'll be able to order them. Then there's the fun part in trying to find 2 days off in a row to remove them and replace them. And I have to figure out how the chrome trim, there's a chrome bar on the rocker panel. I've got to detach that from the existing fenders. I think it's just a screw from the inside, maybe the outside, but I believe it's inside, that I can access through the wheel well. And once that's off, it shouldn't be a problem. What, Ernie? Bonk. Good boy. Now, we've always said he's a dog trapped in a cat's body. Big yawn. And if we run into a stopping point here, I can either work on finishing up the well, not finishing, but more work on the post-apocalyptic lady that I was painting before, or get going on Red Hood, since she was being printed before then and has just been held up due to issues printing her hair. But that's done now too. I may need to go get new paint water. Let that dry for a sec. While I've got the black paint out, I can get this strip down the front here, and that also goes. It's part of that, but I don't want to paint this. Yeah, I don't want to paint this area until I get the arms done, because that's a good border to put masking tape on and not worry about messing anything up. But I can paint this strip through here black, and the letters on her legs, and one of the layers of the cuffs on her gloves. Okay. Let's start with the gloves. Sorry, I keep going back and forth between reference photos for this. I hope everybody had a good weekend, though. My next stream day after this will be Friday again. Don't know what next week will be yet. And I'm going to have to touch that up. I figured that stuck to the desk. It's under my foot. Note to self, vacuum later. And this is also printed at 200% of the original. Ares had to cut the sword in half and separate her legs below the knees so the parts would fit on the printer. Arnie's trying to figure out how to get the treat bag open. Arnie, give me a minute. I will get them for you. Okay? Can you hold on? Yeah? Hold on. Or bring it over here. I know you're smart enough to fetch. He taught Frankie how to fetch, for crying out loud. Alright, give me a second to assuage my cat's want for treats. Come here. Come on. Come on, Arnie. Arnie up. Allie, don't chin him. Oh, there's Mittens. Arnie, come on. Arnie up. Oh, get him up here. Come here, boy. Come here. Come on. I got you. There we go. Come here. Here you go. Allie, there's yours. Come here. There you go. Mittens, come here. Oh, he put it on the floor. Hey, Mitt. There you go, bud. Allie. Allie. So. Here you go, old man. Right there. Right there. He tried to get it, but he kept pushing it with his nose until it ran off the table. Jeez. Arnie, up. Come here. Arnie, come on. See if you can do it. Hey, come here. Come here, big guy. There you go. There you go. Good boy. Maybe we should make that thing, you know, every 10 bits gets a cat treat time kind of thing. If we did that, I've had fat cats, you know. Alright, so let's get the white back out real quick. We'll touch up the glove and get the triangle on that. So I also beat Stalker 2 the other night. So I started another playthrough of it. The first ending I went with was the supposed actual ending with Straylock getting in the tube at the end. The next one I'm going to do is going to be with Scar. And you get a lot of neat scenes interacting with him. One of them being Scar essentially committing a war crime and brain bombing some of the enemy soldiers. So the part I'm painting right now is easy. Relatively large, protruding shapes. Then there's a barcode looking bit. And then there's Defense Force 0007. I think I can do it. I've just got to be sure when I get down here, I've got my paint just right to where I can paint my fingerprint and not get anything in the grooves, just the highlighted areas. Here we go, no time to waste. Hello, Alley Girl. Got it. Let's see if I can get this to show up on the camera without blowing out the camera. Come on. Autofocus. Not enough light. Come on. That's why I wanted to get the other one. Oh, there we go. It's trying to. But either way, I got it. What are you sniffing at, Allie? No more treats right now. We had treat time. Allie wants treats, guys. She's begging up here. You shouldn't get any treats anyway. You went up on the shelves. You went up on top. You knocked down the Orion Space Clipper from 2001. She was a bad girl last night. How's it going, Swagman? Oh, that's right, I got the window open and just... It's not Friday snack time yet? No, it's Monday. But I know a lot of people are probably wondering how I'm going to handle the green portion of the suit. And believe it or not, the underlayer will not be Molotow Chrome. Because Molotow Chrome does not react well with Tamiya paint. Finally awake, yeah. I was hoping to sleep in a little later today. Instead, I kind of woke up at regular time because even though we've done the whole daylight savings time thing, I still woke up at the equivalent of 7:30 my time. Oh, I know. Yeah, it's so difficult, which is actually 8:30. It doesn't help that I didn't get to sleep till about 2 in the morning, though. We have Arnie back on the chair. And now he's back on the desk with Allie. You guys better not start getting on each other. Don't need no cat fight on the desk. Tamiya clear green over Vallejo silver. But given the nature of those paints, they are going to be one of the last things I do. Okay, I gotta work off camera here to get a decent viewing and painting angle. Oof. Spam, 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 spam. Arnie, no. Arnie, no. Arnie, please stop. It's time to give him some attention, I guess. Hi. I know, I gave something else attention for 5 minutes. Yeah, I did. Yeah, you could say that. That's her back. Arnie, why are you so interested in the figure all of a sudden? I can't work with you in front of me like this. You're holding up the stream, bud. Come on. Let's not knock the soy off the table. Okay. Guys, I really have to get going on this. They're being very patient with you today. Allie, don't chin him. Okay, I'm gonna have to get you guys down, or at least you, Arnie. Come here. There you go. Allie, down. If you're not gonna be good, get down. You gonna be good? Okay, thought so. Yeah, the print wasn't that great. I had some waviness on the edge here. Cleaned it up as best I could. Hopefully when I paint it, I'll be able to hide some more of it. So I'm going to start with the intermediate green and then work up to the pale green. Really? This is not a treat. This is a paint bottle, not a treat. You seeing this? Come on, buddy. I need you to get down and stay down for a bit. Come on. Okay. No, we won't be using that. We're not on that green. She's got some solid green strips that aren't metallic as well. But this is too olive. Alright, don't make me sneeze, guys, because I know when I sneeze it's loud and it scares you when you leave the room. But if I have to sneeze, I will, because I really need to paint this, and I can't have kitty interruptions keep happening. You gonna get down, or you gonna lay down? At least stay out of the way. Shake this up a bit more. Hey. Come on. There you go. I'll be able to work this green down. Hey, Flight Sim. Mittens is down here now too. I hope he doesn't hop up on the desk. He's chunk. But unfortunately, the bodysuit green will be the last thing we paint on this. Lego. You're getting into Lego. Well, don't ask me for advice, because I only know what I know. Everybody's printer's different. And that's not to be mean, but it literally is that. Everybody's stuff is different. Ambient temperatures make a difference, pressures, humidities. It's weird. The slightest thing can change it. I have no idea what that is. I'm strictly Elegoo because the one time I tried to get a different company's printer, it turned out to be a crock of shit, and it is now a $1,200 paperweight sitting in my storage unit, i.e. the furnace room. When it did print, it printed great. Until it decided to crush its own screen every random 6 or 7 prints. We'll have to touch up some of this with some black. Just from where I went, a little too over on the green. I still got to do the rings too. Yeah, I really don't feel like talking about Games Workshop because unfortunately, Games Workshop has become political. And what do we not want on this channel? And I will be giving no more warnings when people do bring up that subject. Would it almost be easier to make a green dot and then put a black dot back in the center of it than instead of trying to paint the circle? I don't know. Yeah, I'm just gonna go back with the black and put a new dot in the center. Alright. Let that dry for a minute. Then we'll do the green strip on this side. And then I will take my first get up and move around break too. Get some clean paint water after that. So it's that strip on the front, and it's debatable if it's the one going straight up on the back, but nah, I'll make that green. The clear green. I have to see if that is too. Technically 3, but I only use the 1. It's not like I'm mass producing stuff for sale or anything. Arnie, you better stay on the chair, okay? Oh, that's why I try and mix it up on each model to make sure that it's not just one or the other. Even going so far as to brush up the scratch building skills, which I did recently. Solway Studios misplaced one of the landing gear doors for his Klingon Bird of Prey. So I took the one off mine and sent it to him, but before I did that I scratch built a replacement. Yeah, I'm definitely going to need to get clean paint water on the next break. So, before I do that, while we still have the green out, I need an even finer brush. Who the heck's been chewing on my brushes? Probably Allie. That is the same green. Okay. This is going to be a bit. I've got one even more statuesque than this. Yeah, we just painted that. But that's what was on her leg. Now I see where I have to touch up more too. Give me a second to go take a quick stretch break and get fresh paint water. And we'll start on the next patches, which are going to be the medium gray ones going down the sides of her legs. So I'll be right back. And we are back. Picked up a go-go juice. Do some quick touch-ups here. Then we'll move on to the medium gray. And what are we doing back there? No. Darn it. Gonna have to get you down, bud, if you don't behave yourself. I don't think that's the end for that, but let me check. Oh, it is. Alright, what next? That's a bit tighter and cleaner there. Okay. Okay, so I'll lay in the gray on this side first. I'll probably start around the lettering so that'll be dry while I work on up here and down the leg. That way I can come back and do this, let that dry, and then do the other side. Oh, I forgot to do this glove. Never mind, we're going to do some more black first. Derp. So I saw something on Alien Earth last night that made me laugh. The series is now ripping off that which it ripped off, or It's ripping off things that ripped it off in the past, and it's coming full circle. Supposedly, on the ship in this series, there is a cat. And the cat might be the android, from what we can tell. And if that sounds familiar to anybody, there was an OVA released back in the 80s that mixed Alien with The Thing called Lilycat. I'm trying to concentrate on painting Flight Sim. I don't do Patreons. I don't have the money for that. If there's anybody else out there that can answer him, please feel free. But anyway, back to the subject. So, back in the 80s, Lilycat knocked off Alien. And The Thing, but primarily Alien. And in that, the cat was the android. It's definitely a mid-tone gray, not dark gray. Okay. However, I'm going to go with dark gray on this sword for where it's needed, because I can use black to outline details better on that. And I wanted to check something else out to see if I need to paint more or not. I do. Yeah, it's still debatable how much of that was studio interference and how much of that was David Fincher being David Fincher. I still think he's an overhyped hack when it comes to certain things. That dries up a little bit. Where's my dark gray wash. There it is. But the main reason I think that is Dark Horse essentially had written a story that would have made an excellent Alien 3. And Fox owned the rights to that story regardless, because they own the property and they just allow Dark Horse the freedom to use it for their comics. Why Fox did not show any interest in that story is odd, considering it came out right when they were in the development phase for Alien 3. It would have satisfied their need for no Ripley had they not been able to get Sigourney Weaver back. And it would have forwarded characters that were already established in a positive way, and in a new way that allowed you to actually have stakes in the characters, and not just be, oh, here they are again. Because that's what really killed the Alien series for me is, oh, here they are again. I use every kind of paint, but Games Workshop and Army Painter I generally stay away from. The only Army Painter I've used is their black figure wash, and that was it. So I got no dog in that fight. But please, if you're going to ask a question, stick with what we're discussing and not derail the conversation and make me go off track. Because it is really just, it's rude. Talking about one thing and have to stop and completely go on a different tangent. And that's my last time I'm going to ask. No, but if you're interested, look up Aliens Book 1 by Dark Horse Comics. Depending on which version you find, it'll either be Hicks and Newt or Billy and Wilkes. But that was essentially what was written before Alien 3 was even a fart in the wind. And honestly, it's what a lot of us 90s teenage Alien fans were kind of expecting, but didn't get. Like what that did. So I'm going to go back over this with white to really pop the lace effect. But you can see the details that just came crying out in there. I really like how the details here printed out nice and clean. I was worried the letters would get overexposed. It does. And James Cameron understands the need for the changes he was required to make because of run times and the fact that the more times a theater can repeat a film during the course of a given day, the more money said film can make. But even James Cameron said that that is what he wanted in the film originally, as opposed to what was put in the theater. Okay. So I'm going to do the broad strokes here, but that thin lip going up along the white also needs to be this gray color. And honestly, like, yeah, they got Sigourney Weaver to take the role again in Alien 3. But I think it was after she read the treatment and she's like, if they're doing that, I need my character to die too. Because after all the effort that her character went through in the second film, it was like a slap to the face. That said, honestly, 2 films with Ripley were probably all that we really needed. After that, it got really repetitive and boring. And that's the other thing the comics showed is that, and I've said it before on stream too, Aliens works well as an anthology. Different people in different situations encountering the creature. And look what the films are doing now. They're essentially doing anthologies. There's a connecting thread of the companies and the creature, but no connecting anything else. Not anymore, anyway. And that's where so-called fan continuities begin to screw things up. And it kind of gets annoying, and I actually kind of blame Star Wars for it. Back when Covenant came out, how many people were like, oh look, that's going to be Ripley's mom. No, it doesn't have to be. But also, the other thing that I'm kind of getting sick of, and it's apparent in the new series, there's homage, and then there's just blatant beating you over the head with it callbacks. And everyone's watching the trailers going, oh, this is an Easter egg to this is an Easter egg to that. And it's getting to the point of, is it an Easter egg, or is it just something that functionally exists in that world now? Not everything that sounds and beeps the same has to be an Easter egg. You know, to me, an Easter egg is in, like, Ghostbusters Frozen, or not Frozen Empire, Ghostbusters Afterlife. When they slide down the fire pole in the barn. They use the same sound effect as Ray sliding down it in the first film. Hey, Sidewinder, how you doing? You know, that's a clever little Easter egg that is very subtle. But Romulus just started hitting you over the head with the callbacks, and it's like, come on, guys. Romulus wasn't bad. It was better than 3 or Resurrection. But it actually could have been so much better had they not tried to wedge in the member berries. How you been, Sidewinder? Yes, Romulus was a prequel. It happens between Alien and Aliens. So that's why it's more of an anthology. The connective tissue is that they find the original alien creature at the wreck of the Nostromo. Hmm. It's really not, but at the same time, look what we got to go against after that. It's definitely better than Prometheus and Covenant. The alien felt scary again. But like I said, it felt kind of cheapened though, because every 5 minutes they're stopping to do a callback to any one of the 4 previous films from Resurrection onward, or from the first film all the way to Resurrection. It's like, we get it, you know, it's an alien film. And that one annoying bastard during the facehugger attack scene. There's something in the wall. Oh, it's like, dude, pronounce your consonants. I know you're English, but come on. No offense, Sidewinder. What? Honestly, right now, the one they haven't made yet. I'm still hoping that they might do something that'll feel unique again. Because even the originals have been... Oh, that was close. I almost put a big splotch of gray right there on the white. Exactly, Major Havoc. Well, the problem with that shit in Covenant, um, it's not even... For ease of conversation, I'll say our alien, right? It's not the 1979 or 1986 alien. It is David reverse engineering what he found on that planet. It's not even the alien. That's why everything looked different. If you notice, the eggs had like an elongated tip. The alien itself was more meaty, less bug-like, and it was almost insanely aggressive. Where in almost every other iteration, the alien had intelligence. Where this one, Ridley Scott just made it a wild beast. He contradicts himself all the time, too. He's like, oh, I don't like how they do this and that, and they make it into another slasher character. Well, you didn't do any better, Ridley. And people complain about the face hugger longevity life cycle thing, right? What about the one that got on the guy's face for like half a second, and 8 hours later it pops on the ship? Meanwhile, the captain has one on there full time, and it's like half an hour later. There's no consistency with it outside of the first film. So, Leo, look just past my shoulder, right around here. What do you see hanging on my display case there? Alright, that is one side done. Now we have to get a little bit of the Vallejo white out, because we got to do all of this. That's gonna be fun. That's drying nicely. Go. Now, where's the brush I used to do the lettering before? I think it might be this one. Okay. Yeah, if you can get it so it just paints the upper parts of your fingerprint, then you can do it. Well, if you really go back and watch the first Alien, it never hunted anybody, and I brought this up on stream before too. It was probably more to just make it easier on filming. But to me, it seemed like the damn thing wanted to be left alone. Like, it's like, dudes, I just want to sleep, leave me alone. And every time they walk into it, wake it up, piss it off. Hadn't had its morning coffee yet. I haven't seen Prey. I know of it and all that stuff. It feels like too much of a departure for me. And for how they wanted to tie it into other films, they also just self-contained it too. And now it's got all these other ideas like, oh, predators in feudal Japan and this and that. I'd rather see the other idea. A predator in World War I. The Somme. Okay, I'll have to touch that up. Got a little white paint in there. This is taking all I can to just sit still and do this. Romulus was a step in the right direction. I think Alvarez confirmed that the whole black goo thing was put in there at the request of Disney and Ridley Scott, since he was a producer on the film. But at least Romulus did something the other films didn't. It gave a more concrete answer to what the goo does, right? Instead of being a universal MacGuffin, it shows how it can influence and change things. But the thing is, we're never going to get back the initial shock that the original Alien gave us. Not totally. In order to do something like that, we would actually have to let the series rest for about a good 10 years. No games, no media, no nothing, right? And then when the next iteration is made, keep it quiet. And when the preview comes out, don't go showing the fucking creatures. Imagine how much more interesting even Covenant would have been as an audience member had you gone in thinking it was just going to follow Prometheus again, right? And then towards the end of the film, you're getting hit in the face with a facehugger and 2 aliens that you didn't see in the preview and nothing was hinted at. Wouldn't that have been a bit more shocking as an audience member than knowing it was there from the preview and just waiting for the scene to come up? Done right, that could have almost been like a Darth Vader on Rogue One scene. Exactly. Well, like, even in Romulus, even though they didn't state it in the trailer or anywhere else, I was able to guess months before release that they had gone and found the original alien. I don't know what tipped me off, but just the way they'd been doing it, just something in my head said they somehow went and got the original Alien. Because it was just blown out into space. That's why when Alien Earth happened, or was announced, I was like, what'd they do now? Go to LV 426 and find the Queen in orbit? Or did they find the one in the Arctic? Nope. Turns out a ship crashes on Earth. And all the mega companies are after it. A ship that so happens to be the same class as the Nostromo. It's getting to the point now, it's like, okay, does no one else make any other kinds of ships? Does everybody drive a Chevy Nova? I have to repaint that. I'm just touching up some of my screw-ups real quick before I lose track of all of them. They were kept out of the trailers, but they were all over fucking reels and everything else. And honestly, I'm kind of over the whole Deadpool thing. The first film was great, the second one was eh, and I had absolutely no interest in the third one. More because I find Ryan Reynolds annoying as fuck. But that's me. I'm not really invested in those characters anymore. And I haven't seen enough of the other Marvel crap that they've made to really get what's going on with the dimension hopping that I'm guessing was going on. I don't have Disney Plus or anything else like that. And sorry to be a negative Nancy with that, but that's just how it is. You know, people get all excited about a new Jack Black film coming out. I'm the same way with that guy. And he's been playing the same character since School of Rock. That and it's really hard to get excited about anything when all it is rehashes and remakes again. Ah, darn it. Well, that and just when you have no faith in the people making the films anymore either. Like all the time you hear, oh, the theater experience is dying, the theater experience is dying. Then why don't the movie companies, as shareholders in their own properties, essentially make it so that the movies can't be streamed? If streaming is killing it, don't allow it to be streamed. You have the right to control all of that in your contract negotiations. You want something to be exclusive and make you money? Don't allow it to be streamed, especially the same day it comes out in theaters. You want your movie to make money? Make it so only people can see it at the theater. And then they can buy it on video later, not while it's still in theaters, but like make it a few months later. Give them something to look forward to. That's part of the reason nobody goes to theaters, is because why should I when I can see it at home on this thing I've already paid for? They don't see the extra revenue from the film because it's already absorbed into their streaming service. It's already earned its money, they just can't distinguish it from the rest of the money that's also been earned from everything else. Essentially, they're watering down their own liquor. If you want people to use the theaters, give them a reason to. And that reason isn't going to be, oh, we're simultaneously releasing it in theaters and on streaming. It doesn't work like that. And make going to the theater an experience again. It's like the whole meme of the guy riding the bicycle along and he sticks the stick in the front wheel and goes, oh, it's their fault. Why would you do that? I mean, hell, even back in the early days of DVD, the late days of VHS, it was still a 6 to 8 month wait minimum before a movie that was in theaters that you saw came out on video so you could watch it, right? And then it made more money then because it was in theaters, people thought it was good, it wasn't a sequel rushed out in less than a year. The movie comes out and people are like, I liked that movie, I want to own it, I shall go buy it. Now, a lot of times, you can't even do that. Like, I'd like to get The Black Hole on Blu-ray. I'm not signing up to an extra service through Disney just to get that. That's the only way you can get it, is through a club, and it's not even available anymore. because I heard they cleaned up a lot on it. Yeah. Nope. Again, too political. Too many people with too many statements trying to flush that thing in the wrong direction, so I avoided it. I would say mid to late 80s, all the way up till about 97. It started dying after that, because the spectacle was gone. 97 was the year of Spawn, Titanic, Event Horizon, Starship Troopers. That was the last big year that I can think of. Other people have their own opinions on it. But so many films came out that year that you had to see in theaters to appreciate the scope of it. And now there's ones like the Transformers films, but at the same time, even they're getting long in the tooth in terms of the characters and how many times you can repeat the Unicron story before it's like, okay. So yeah, I'd say 97, maybe 98 was the last time that there were things worth going to the theater to see on a regular basis. You still get them now, like things like Endgame and stuff. But just because your movie is visually so busy on the screen doesn't necessarily mean it's worth watching. Look at Ready Player One. The reason you see that in the theater is so you can kind of follow what the hell's going on, because there's just too much happening. Like Rick McCullum said in the old Star Wars interviews, there's so much on the screen, it's so dense, yeah, that it's distracting. But yeah, I'd have to say summer of 97 was the last really good, dropping blockbusters left and right theater year. And where the film properties were unique. They weren't just they weren't sequels and remakes. And that's why I say from 86 till about then, because 86 was another summer just like that, where you had Top Gun, you had Aliens. What else is 86? 86 had a lot of movies. I was just too young to really remember a lot of them. It even had shit like Iron Eagle, right? But there was reasons to go to the theater then, and that momentum kind of kept up until the mid to late 90s. No, it wasn't the scene in the car that you had to fast forward through. It was the drawing scene on the couch for kids. The scene in the car was suggestive. The scene on the couch was pretty blatant. Oh, and for those interested in the Titanic, Magellan is making their scan available as an ROV simulator on Steam. They've released the bow already, and they're going to get the stern going here shortly. So you can actually drive an ROV around the current condition scan of the Titanic. Photorealistic. Yeah, so you see what I'm getting at, Major Havoc. So, and then the hits like that were pretty regular, because you had you had Star Trek 4, even though I thought that was 87. Because the Challenger blew up in 86. Right? But it felt like every summer afterward just had a lot going on, right? Like, it was on a roll. The effects technology was there for the sci-fi stuff. You know, there was really good story diversity within the business. I remember the last movie I saw in theaters in the early 2000s. 2005, I saw Silent Hill in the theater and War of the Worlds. But those are the only two movies I remember needing to see in the theater. Then after that, I don't recall seeing anything in theaters until Transformers in 2007. You know, because it used to be you were going to the theater every month for something new. And now I'm going once a year because something looks like it might be big enough and interesting enough to see on the big screen. If that. Like, I didn't bother with Prometheus or Covenant in theaters because there wasn't anything that made me feel I needed to see that, 50 feet across and 30 feet high. And the sound, too. The sound plays a lot into it as well. Alright, let's see how well this lace pops. Yeah. I know I saw Star Trek 4 in theaters. Like, out of all those movies, I saw Star Trek 4 and Ferris Bueller's in theaters. I didn't see Aliens. My parents thought I was too young, even though I was turning 10. My brothers went and saw it, and they said, yeah, it was fine because it wasn't a gory horror film like the original. It was an action film with a lot of swearing. Yeah, I saw that in theaters as well. I'm still waiting on someone to do good STL files for Johnny. Oh wow, this lace is just popping. Look at that. Then 89 was another good year. I remember seeing The Abyss in theaters. Wasn't Spaceballs also 89? Oh, Aliens is way after Star Wars. Star Wars at the time was done in 83. Aliens was 86. It was competing with Top Gun. Which is kind of funny if you think about it, because in a way, Aliens was competing with its own creators. Because Top Gun was directed by Tony Scott, and I think Ridley Scott was a producer on it. And they created Aliens. It was either 87 or 88, I know that. It was my introduction to Mel Brooks. Yeah, I think that's all I'm going to be able to do with the lace. Come on, autofocus. There we go. Yeah, I might be cutting it short today too. It's just been over 2 hours, but I realized I need to let things dry before I can flip it over and do the other side. I'll probably get the other side grayed and get everything masked and ready for the green on Friday. We'll see. Like I said, that's the one thing that's been plaguing me, is having one day off at a time. I have to meter what I do because I've got so many other things I need to do. Like laundry, installing the LED lights in my car. Yeah, you have a good night, Leo, and thank you again for the donations. They will go towards new fenders. Unless you state that you want it to go on the channel into something like a kit or paints and supplies, that's up to you. You guys can tell me what you want to use it on. But unless you say otherwise, it's going to go towards fenders. And thank you again to Aries for the resub. But I think I'm going to call it. Like I said, I don't want to go rubbing all this off when I'm trying to paint this side, so I'd like to let this dry a bit, possibly even give it a protective clear coat and let that dry. Then I can paint this and get everything else ready for masking for the metallic green. So, we'll do that. Not as much as I wanted to get done, but good progress. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all.